I had a video all ready to post today, but I've had some overriding thoughts that have been on my mind this past week, and since it's a timely topic for all hikers, I thought I would instead discuss what's on so many of our minds. If you haven't heard this news, this past weekend, May 10th, there was a freak yet tragic and unfortunately violent incident that happened on the Appalachian Trail in Virginia. A group of thru hikers were threatened and attacked. Two fled north and were able to alert the authorities. The disturbed person, he attacked one male, and then he went to the female and he stabbed her as well. She pretended to be dead, basically. Luckily, she was able to get some help from other hikers and trek, I think, 6 miles to get medical help. Unfortunately, the male who was stabbed has since died. Hearing this kind of news understandably raises the fears, and especially for loved ones of us solo hikers. So first, let's put things in perspective by the facts and not the fears. When I said a freak accident, because it is a very rare occurrence on the Appalachian Trail. The last time anything like this happened was in 2011, so the odds, obviously, in real life and everyday life are far greater. The odds of such thing happening anytime soon are less than if you drove to get your car filled up with gas and picked up some takeout, or if you boarded a plane, or if you visited a nearby shopping mall. I actually don't even have Ella today. I'm completely solo. I wanted to try out using both of my trekking poles. I can only usually bring one when I have her leash. I just invite you to hike along with me today, and I'm going to share some of my thoughts, hopefully not ranting too much, basically focusing on things that I do as a solo female hiker to be safe when I'm out here, or as safe as I can be. I'd like to just put some thoughts and some tips out there to share and help, hopefully, others prepare as well. And since 5 is just never quite enough, and you know that I hate odd numbers, I'm going to present my top 6 tips for hiking safely, especially for women or solo hiking. And while most people will tell you probably one of their first tips is, well, just hike with a partner or as a group for your safety in numbers. But you know what, I'm going to skip over that just because, in all honesty, to me that's like letting the fears and the evil win and rule us. Because a lot of us, most of us actually, that come out here to hike on our own, do so for specifically the solitude and the peace. I know I'm not alone in that sentiment, and that is just my opinion, but it is what it is, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Moving forward. This is an example of how much rain we've had in the last week. This is normally a pretty dry path, and it's now a stream of running water. And the ongoing joke, at least for, I don't know what it's like everywhere else, but in Pennsylvania, is that it's been raining here since November of 2017. And some days it feels like that. You get big strips where you do not see the sun. And it's so long that it really starts to affect your outlook and everything. And this is crazy. The river is literally running right through the hill. This is the reason I did not bring Ella today, because Last time we went home, she needed an immediate bath because her entire undercarriage was saturated in mud. So number one is to rethink your gear. Hikers are notorious for loving multitask gear. Your limited, lightest weight gear can not only perform multiple traditional uses, but it can also up your safety. Things like carrying trekking poles, for instance. It's a great way to balance your body weight and take pressure off of your joints. Stabilize you for terrain that's uneven, wet, or muddy. But safety-wise, they can also be a self-defense tool. I personally carry only one when I bring Ella so that I can hold her leash in the other hand. But when I see someone approaching, you better believe that I make it visible to them and I place it right between us while we're passing. In my opinion, anyone who has wrong intentions is going to naturally be more leery when there's a dog. Number two, safety is worth the limited weight. A whistle, a can of mace, pepper spray, a safety alert beacon like Garmin InReach or a similar device, and a knife, visible and readily available. These all will have strong safety merits that are really worth every meager ounce. Number three, knowledge is power. Self-defense knowledge can really be your superpower on and off trail. I wish that self-defense courses were graduation requirements. These are, however, frequently offered in local community education programs through your local school districts or municipalities. And they're available even as like evening workshops. So I guess if nothing else, I suggest people learn at least a few tactics online for self-defense. I'm going to put some suggested links in the description section of this video. I guess the main point is that it's really all about knowledge. And by understanding body dynamics and reflexes, some very simple basic maneuvers, and using vulnerability and instincts to protect yourself if needed. You don't have to be a big strong person, martial arts background, anything like that. If you know where to hit and how to free yourself with some basic maneuvers, you will up your safety enormously. You know, I gotta be honest. As much as I told myself I wasn't gonna let the incident on the Appalachian Trail kind of affect my hiking, to not live in fear, I tell you, I'm out here today, the sounds are amplified, so every time I hear something rustling in the woods beside me, I'm taking extra caution. I'm checking behind me more frequently, which, okay, heightened alertness and awareness is not a bad idea, ever. It's easy to become complacent and think, just think about what's going on in your own head and forgetting your surroundings, forgetting your safety rules. But I gotta tell you, my mind is winning a little bit, and the fear is definitely right beside me or sitting on my shoulder throughout this hike. Just, you know, my sympathies and prayers are with everyone involved, their families, and you know, I just hope that somehow this experience, this tragedy, is not in vain, that something good comes out of it, that it helps others in some way, and that's all we can hope for. In the last quarter mile, I've been seeing a lot of these, which I think look like deer prints, hoof prints. The next point, and I think we're at number 4, is to use tech for more than just comfort and indulgence. GPS does more than guide your orienting. It can connect you to a buddy even when you hike alone. One option that I'm currently using is the All Trails apps. In addition to finding new trails and recording your path, one thing that you can do is to click the Lifeline option. And I'm actually doing this, finally figured it out for the first time today. It basically will connect you to either an email address or a phone number. You can have multiple contacts, and then when you start out on your hike, pull up the map, put in your start time and your intended finish time, and let the person that you select follow along as you hike. Another thing is that it's not really a bad idea to even just to pretend to be on a video call. If you think about it, would you do something that you wouldn't want to be caught doing if you thought someone was possibly recording and could send it to the police immediately? Just found 2 new tracks. I'm saying raccoon on these. Okay, I guess we're up to number 5. Present yourself as confident, as smart, and as observant. Look somebody that you come in contact with out here, look them directly in the eye, acknowledge them. You don't want to approach with showing intimidation or seem distracted. It's going to make you more of a target. Whatever gear you have, make it apparent. Just be aware and alert, as like I talked about in that last segment, of your surroundings always. Always good to check behind you every now and then. Don't wear earphones. I know a lot of people like to listen to music, podcasts, audiobooks while you're out here, which is really cool, and I like that too. But if you're going to, at the very least, leave one earphone out, again, it sends a message to oncoming people as well that you're not distracted, that you are alert, you're smart. There's also, if you haven't heard of them, something called AfterShokz is the company that have phones that actually don't go in the ear canal. They sit above your ear and actually conduct the sound through the bone. Don't be a target. Trust your instincts. You have them for a reason, and you should never second guess them. Don't challenge their wisdom. Even if a threat isn't imminent, reacting to instinct is always the smartest choice. Be flexible enough that you can and you will immediately change course, heading toward the most visible, populated areas. If nothing else, go toward where you know your vehicle is parked. You're heading toward a spot where you're more likely to be seen or heard by others. So again, looking at those maps when you first come out is so important, so you have some concept of the cross trails and so forth. So if you have to make those kind of quick decisions, that you're prepared to do so. Always return to that location another time. You can get in an extra walk another day, or even increase your pace to make up for that lost distance. This looks like fun. But you can't get back your actions and decisions after they pass. So make them wisely. Being prepared, being alert, and being smart on trail. Yeah, this is why you use your poles.